Hello, everyone. Welcome to Proficy 2025, our annual leadership strategy and product launch webinar series. My name is Alexis Murphy, and I will be your host today. You'll get to see how we've brought the Proficy portfolio together into a cohesive suite that now delivers analytics built in to give new insights into your operation. So before we get into the fun stuff, I want to be sure to mention that today's event may include forward-looking statements. The information presented is intended to be an outline of general product direction, and it should not be relied on in making a purchasing decision. Now for some quick housekeeping. You should all see an interface with some buttons at the bottom of your screen. They look like the ones on the right side of the slide here. Please send any questions you have through that orange chat bubble button. The purple envelope button allows you to contact our team. The blue paperclip button is our most important, as it's where you'll find relevant content and resources related to today's webinar. Through the orange person icon, you can connect with today's host and VP of Product Management, Steve Pavlovsky. If you need technical assistance, reach out through that orange question mark button, though most issues can be solved by just refreshing your browser. And lastly, please share your feedback. We have that pink checklist button there where you can send us your challenges and your initiatives. We're using this information to build our products collaboratively with your insights, so we really thank you for anything you send along. Now I'd like to introduce today's speaker, Steve Pavlovsky. He is the Vice President of Product Management for the Proficy Portfolio. With more than 30 years serving in automation and industrial data management, Steve is an industrial internet pioneer. His career spans the introduction of our Simplicity HMI SCADA software to leading the company's edge-to-cloud connectivity device portfolio. Having worked with hundreds of customers, Steve is passionate about enabling organizations to get the most performance and reliability from their assets, which starts with secure and efficient collection and storage, contextualizing asset data, and distributing data to users and applications that derive value from the data. With that, I will kick it over to Steve to take us through today's presentation.
Thanks, Alexis, and thanks everyone for taking the time today. I'm very excited to share with you our vision of the Proficy portfolio and where we're taking this portfolio. For those of you who aren't familiar with the entire suite, right, we provides an entire suite of effectively digital operation software, helping manufacturing and utility customers efficiently manage their assets and get the most out of their production environment from the plant floor to the cloud and across the enterprise. We have been named a leader by Gartner for the last 2 years, both in 22 and 23. And we're very proud of the investments that we've made in the portfolio that are really focused on helping you get the most out of your production operations. The portfolio spans everything from production automation software, our HMI capability, through manufacturing execution systems with our MES scheduling software, and we'll be talking more about all of those. Our industrial management platform, Proficy Historian, and analytics software that really helps you get new insights and be able to make predictions of what's happening in your processes that allow you to react to situations before they happen, or to optimize outcomes of your production equipment. We think about the suite today from compared to what it was several years ago. It's a wildly different experience for the Proficy portfolio customers. We have turned what once was a collection of separate applications into a cohesive suite using a common set of infrastructure, common administrative portal, common user identity management and security, and a common visualization layer and common analytics across the entire portfolio. So no matter what set of capability you're trying to drive out of your investment in Proficy, whether it's operators interacting with the production equipment using a SCADA product, iFix or Simplicity, whether it's trying to reduce your consumption of natural resources by using Proficy for sustainability insights, interact with data that you've stored from across your plant or across your enterprise, control your manufacturing process, track quality, efficiency of your manufacturing process, or schedule that, right? It's all within a single cohesive set of infrastructure and same look and feel. And this is very different from what other players have on the market today, because it's the operations hub layer that sort of sits on the right-hand side that brings all of these applications together and allows you to build a single, to configure a single application that contains information perhaps coming out of the SCADA or MES widgets, or trend data coming out of the historian, and putting that data in the form that you want to put it in the hands of your operators, your line supervisors, your plant managers. So that no-code, low-code environment lets you effectively configure bespoke user experiences for your different user base that gets them the information that they need from Proficy applications or from third-party applications on the desktop or on a mobile device. So we brought this entire portfolio together, and we've started in 2024 leveraging the power of our CSense analytics platform to deliver new insights into the various applications. So if I think about even 2 years ago, and I think about our HMI SCADA, for example, or historian, or even the MES platform, you were really looking at what's happened. You're looking at an HMI screen or the alarm screen about what has occurred in the process. Historian was all about storing that data for replay within the SCADA or within Operations Hub. And the MES, right? It's what's happening now. Perhaps there's instructions for the operator, but it was really all about the now. By embedding Proficy CSense into the rest of the portfolio, we've now given you the ability to get new insights, and we call that advisory operations. And so in the HMI SCADA, for example, there are alarm pattern recognition and sensor health models. There's predictive trending models for the Proficy historian. With Proficy Smart Factory 2025 MES solution, there'll be predictive downtime and true root cause models that help you understand when you're likely to have downtime on a piece of equipment, or you're likely, or what the cause of that downtime was. So a much more cohesive and powerful application set. And now we've added in Proficy Scheduler, which is a new offering that will allow you to optimize the throughput of your plants by producing optimal schedules. And so let's talk a little bit more about that scheduler, as it is brand new, starting in 2025. The real question is, why should you invest in a scheduler? And many of you, if you're a persona that's used our software before, a line supervisor, a control engineer, a system integrator, an operator, right? You may not, you may get the schedule from the person that is the scheduler in your operation. And if they don't have great tools helping you optimize that schedule, you're not going to get optimal performance out of your plant. It's just as simple as that. The scheduling is undervalued and not recognized as a strategic way of improving your operations. And frankly, for many of our customers, scheduling practices, they're just not up to date, and they've not been optimized. And so what is scheduler, right? Proficy Scheduler is a finite capacity scheduling. So it is true constraint based. It will validate and it will build an optimal schedule based on material availability, people availability, and equipment availability. It also allows you to schedule across sites and do what-if simulations to improve and accelerate your decision-making practices, as well as align schedules across multiple plants where you've got a complex supply chain. And it's all visual, so it's very easy for the scheduler to understand what's happening when on what pieces of equipment, and what products are being produced. And there's lots of capability in terms of solving for particular optimizations. Perhaps you need to optimize for a specific set of high value orders. Perhaps you're optimizing for total labor cost, or just trying to move as much product through the manufacturing operation as possible. Scheduler can do all of that. And so again, it's really designed to help you optimize your lead times, your work in process, minimize overtime. It's very efficient for the planner, so that you can do more with less. And it creates a valid production schedule that you can have confidence in, so that you can make commitments to customers based on the plan coming out of your schedule. And I was in manufacturing businesses, and we tried to use the ERP for scheduling, or we built some custom applications on top of data coming out of the ERP, and we were never really able to do very good promises for our customers. And gosh, I wish at the time we'd have had Scheduler, because we could have been a much better supplier to our customer. And the customers of Scheduler have told us how valuable it is to them. 100% of those customers report back to us reduced labor cost. 91% report back increased revenue from their operations, because they're able to effectively free up capacity. They have lower financing costs. They can manage their inventory better. They have lower penalties. They're late less on the orders that they're committing to their customers. They have lower material costs and lower energy costs because they're more efficient in terms of the use of their equipment. So a wide variety of benefits that our customers have had. And that's why we're so excited about bringing out Scheduler as part of the Proficy 2025 portfolio. If I think about the rest of the core portfolio and the investments we've been making, we've really been focusing on enabling our customers' digital transformation at enterprise scale. And if you've been to these webinars in the past, right, you may have seen something similar to this, where we've talked about our platform strategy around cloud transformation, focused on enterprise scale, connected worker, putting data in the hands of that worker where they are, as well as helping our manufacturing and customers with achieve sustainability goals. We've added a fifth this year, and that's Proficy Data Hub. And that is the next iteration of how we're going to bring the entire portfolio together beyond the sort of infrastructure and the user experience. We're now going to bring the product portfolio together in a new way. And our investment strategy has been really to create a fully integrated manufacturing management platform that enables digital operations, now combined with both process and planning optimization, to drive production optimization. So leveraging that CSense analytics platform across the portfolio, and now giving you Proficy Scheduler across the portfolio to help optimize with your planning. We've simplified the integration between the Proficy Suite, OT data sources, and IT systems, freeing trapped and siloed production data through tools like our Proficy Historian for Cloud, which integrates seamlessly with your IT systems like your data lakes. And Proficy Data Hub will add additional capability there. And at the same time, we've modernized the underlying architecture. Many of the products are available on the cloud, managed through Kubernetes infrastructure. Some of the products today are available as SaaS offerings that we keep up to date for you. More of that will happen in 2025, and we'll see that as we go on through the deck, right? And really a focus on allowing you to deploy and manage the applications in a much simpler way, on premises, in your cloud infrastructure, or on SaaS, all aligned with your IT organization's vision of how they want to do compute. Do they want to use private cloud? Do they want SaaS first? Do they want to deploy on premises? Is there a mix? We can do all of it, and provide you the flexibility. And whether the products are run on premises, you run them in the cloud, or we run them in the cloud for you, it's the same set of capability. Proficy Historian for cloud is Proficy Historian. Proficy Smart Factory MES is Proficy Smart Factory MES, just as two examples. At the same time, we've been modernizing the infrastructure. We've been making additional capabilities, additional investments in new capabilities. Some of those will be introduced this year. Some of those will be future. But what you can feel from us is this modern integrated portfolio that we've invested in and continue to invest to extend and to deliver new capabilities to you. The next investment that really helps us bring the product portfolio together is something we're calling Proficy Data Hub. And Proficy Data Hub focuses on solving two problems in the manufacturing software space. The first of those problems is the data availability in context, right? If I think about, the state of this market, right? Customers have manufacturing operations software installed. There's no common infrastructure, and there's no common context across that data. And so that forces manufacturers to either not be able to take advantage of the data that they've got in their systems because it's trapped in specific servers that all have different connection mechanisms and don't share context. So the data remains trapped, right? And plant configuration can take forever, right? We deal with large scale customers in the automotive space, for example. It could take 18 months to configure from scratch the dozen or so HMI SCADA servers that might be in an automotive plant. So we're trying to tackle both how do we enable you to create value from all of the data within the Proficy applications within your facilities, and to dramatically reduce the time it takes to configure our systems. And that's what really Proficy Data Hub is going to solve for. It's going to deliver a single model context across the entire Proficy suite. And that will be not just an asset and data context, which is valuable in terms of enabling the creation of data value from across the suite, but it will be a very rich model that could have, it'll have the sort of complete model structure that's required for an MES deployment that's got not only asset modeling, but material and people modeling as well. The models can house analytic models. So if you use CSense to build an analytic for a machine type, every time you create an instance of that machine type, an instance of that analytic model can be deployed to a CSense runtime. You could have graphic displays associated with model objects. So as you create an instance of a model object, HMI screens get automatically built out. Tags can automatically either be collected or stored to historian. So dramatic reduction in the time it will take to deploy the next line or the next plant, right? Because you'll have built up a model context around that's reusable across your facilities. And in addition, we'll give you a data fabric that will allow both the normalization of data across your assets, but also provide a single methodology through REST endpoints, OPC UA, MQTT, perhaps something like Kafka, that allow you to subscribe to or request data in the context of that model, without having to know that, hey, for a SCADA server, I've got to talk to it via OPC UA. For an MES server, I need to talk via REST endpoints. For historian, I have a variety of methods I could go get data. So we'll provide a single consistent connection point with a single asset model context for all of the data from your operations. And so what Proficy Data Hub then does is it creates this layer that enables all of the applications, right, to share both model configuration data, model context, as well as provide a single point of connection, because there'll be a consistent methodology for accessing data out of the Proficy platform, no matter which elements of the platform are being used. And so that Data Hub will deliver, a data model that can be used for configuring the applications, as well as a unified namespace across plants, a directory service that will allow external applications, both the store and allow the Proficy applications to store configuration, but also external applications to understand what data is available. And then this data fabric, which is going to provide this consistent mechanism that's very scalable and resilient for your external applications. Could be BI applications, could be business analytics, whatever it is that you need to be able to get data out of the Proficy platform, whether it be Historian, the MES, or the SCADA platforms, or in the future the Scheduler platform, for example. You'll have that ability via a single point of connection. So very exciting in terms of this investment. As we move on to the other elements of that strategy, we have been taking the product portfolio through this cloud transformation. Our goal is to have a fully cloud and cloud technology enabled portfolio, meaning either we run it in the cloud, you run it in the cloud, or it runs on premises using cloud-based technologies like Kubernetes that provide you higher reliability and simpler management of your technology. On-premises, hybrid, full cloud, AI and ML enabled, leveraging that CSense runtime. And then for our SaaS customers, sort of always on and always up to date, where we'll manage the updating on a periodic basis of the application, so that your IT organization is freed up to manage your business infrastructure. And so in 2025, right, we have Proficy Smart Factory today as a SaaS offering. We have Historian and Operations Hub in the AWS and Azure marketplaces. We're going to be adding new SaaS offerings for Historian with Operations Hub and with CSense. The Proficy Scheduler will be added as a SaaS offering. So really, we've dramatically changed how you're able to deploy these products, whether you can still run them in your own environments, or you can effectively outsource the infrastructure and the management of those platforms to us. So big deal in terms of giving you flexibility in terms of how you want to buy and manage your infrastructure. We want to solve the big hard problems, and part of big and hard in the manufacturing space is the complexity of the manufacturing floor, especially for customers with multiple plants. And so, our goal is to be the easiest to deploy and manage suite of operations management software. We've put a lot of work into what we call Configuration Hub, which is our administrative portal, and we're extending that with capabilities that will result in for you being able to install software updates or deploy configuration to the various servers across your factory floor or your IT infrastructure. So in Proficy 2025, Proficy Smart Factory starts to support multi-plant factory or deployments. So that's a single MES environment having multiple plant databases, enabling you to have separate configuration across multiple plants. We're going to be delivering both the SaaS Historian as well as a new, what I'll call hyperscale cloud Historian, effectively unlimited in terms of its capability to store data from across an enterprise. So as customers think about bringing all of their OT data into a single data store, the hyperscale historian will be something you'll want to take a look at. We're adding this enterprise system management capability to manage applications and deploy software. And Proficy Data Hub will be integrated, which is going to allow for that, both the sharing of configuration data across the enterprise, as well as providing that data fabric infrastructure, whether at the plant level or at the enterprise level, to simplify getting data out of the Proficy suite as it's deployed at enterprise scale. But having all that power isn't valuable if we don't get the data into the hands of the decision maker, of the person on the shop floor that needs the right information. And so we've got this vision of that we're executing on with Proficy Operations Hub to provide a single integrated, configurable, and extensible user experience platform that lets you design the user experience for the various personas in your manufacturing operation. We're starting to integrate that with GenAI technology to help accelerate the deployment of that. So think about, using a tool, a GenAI tool that basically says, hey, I want an Operations Hub screen, and I want to show this data, and I want to depict this data using these type of objects, and having the screens automatically built. So that's kind of technology we're investing in as well. So for 2025, single platform across all Proficy applications, everything from HMI SCADA to Historian to Smart Factory to Sustainability Insights. We're adding in client-side scripting, which is really critical for HMI applications. It can run as a Windows Server application, but it's also fully containerized and scalable and can be deployed in a highly available architecture. And we've built in a GraphQL connection. And we'll talk a little bit more later about GraphQL as we talk about Proficy Smart Factory, but it will simplify getting the data out of Proficy Smart Factory, which stores its data in a complex database structure. GraphQL simplifies bringing data from multiple tables in the MES platform together to answer common sort of data extract questions in a simple way. And we're building that into Operations Hub to simplify how do I see a set of specific data out of the MES on an Operations Hub screen. Many of our customers today are asking us for how do we help them reduce their natural resource consumption. And last year we introduced Proficy for Sustainability Insights, and that leverages both our analytics capability and Operations Hub, really focusing on solving the manufacturing use case for ESG initiatives. And that is in the manufacturing context, in the context of what product on what piece of equipment or what production line, what natural resources am I consuming today, what energy, what water, what steam, what gas. And when I produce that product in the past, am I better today or worse today? And if I'm worse today, where are there opportunities for me to save? Right. So we're not trying to be a big ESG reporting tool. What we're trying to do is help our manufacturing customers optimize within the manufacturing context. And for 2025, we're accelerating our effort to bring that technology to the cloud. We've had many customers ask us for cloud-based deployments. And so that's really where our investment is today within sustainable manufacturing, is move that sort of plant level solution that we introduced in 2024 to the enterprise level. So if I think about the overall Proficy portfolio as we go through 2025, be powered by Proficy Data Hub, fully integrated operations management suite, on-prem, hybrid, cloud, or SaaS, with embedded AI capability, delivering improved outcomes, all accelerated through the use of Proficy Data Hub. So very exciting for us in terms of what we're delivering to you, our customer base. And now I'm going to give you just a little snapshot of at a product level, in a few moments, we'll be talking about a series of upcoming webinars where there'll be detailed discussions around individual products. But I did want to give you just a quick glimpse at a product level summary as to what we're delivering. Scheduler. So I talked earlier about SaaS deployments. We're going to be investing in improving the integration with the Proficy platform. So simplifying the configuration. We've already aligned our user identity management, and we're going to continue to invest in enhancing the web planner for those SaaS and web-based customers. Smart Factory, we're introducing multi-site. We've got a brand new document management platform that handles version control of documents associated with operations and routes. We've got the GraphQL server with its APIs, new downtime and activity widgets, and analytics like I talked before. For Historian, the big focus is on cloud, so SaaS deployments and the multi-region scalability, as well as integration and additional analytics. So we're building a Kafka producer and consumer to make it easier to integrate with IT systems, and MQTT publisher to allow Historian to publish data via an MQTT bus to other to brokers for other applications that want data. We're making additional security and encryption enhancements, and we've added additional analytics into the platform. Operations Hub, we just talked about client-side scripting, parameterized widgets, which make it easier for you to build sort of common screens, which you feed parameters into, so that as you traverse the model, screens change based on the context of what the customer is looking at. Simplifying the data binding, the GraphQL connector, and then making Operations Hub a SaaS offering for Historian customers. In the HMI SCADA world, we're making some investments in performance for iFix and sort of uptime and availability for Simplicity HMI SCADA. We have heard you loud and clear around the performance of iFix. And we've heard our customers say, hey, iFix version 5.5 was the fastest, and as you've added new capability, it has slowed down. Well, I'm here to tell you that with a release happening in 2025, iFix 2024.1 will be the fastest version of iFix ever, faster than 5.5, and you'll be excited to do that upgrade. For our large Simplicity customers, we've got capability coming called Active Update, which is going to allow you to do, when you've got redundant pairs, update one server, do test and validation, and then swap back over and automatically update the other server. So very powerful in terms of doing application updates when you've got redundant pairs. With Proficy CSense, we're going to add it as a SaaS option to Smart Factory and Historian, along with continue to build out the family of embedded analytics models that get deployed across the other platform. And with Proficy Data Hub, our goal is to get functionality out to you as early as possible. We expect an early adopter release starting in either late Q1 or early Q2. So look for more information on Proficy Data Hub and how you can become an early adopter of that platform. And so with all of that, right, I'm going to close with this, right? My goal is to deliver the only fully integrated plant software suite with a core data fabric that enables enterprise-wide production optimization from equipment to the ERP. That's the challenge I've given my team, and I hope that you've seen today that we're delivering on that challenge.